Alright guys, welcome back to the couch. So we have a lot to do here in the village. But first I did do some things between episodes to have basically a lot of time to do everything. So what you have to do is you want to go back to Clock Town, drop all your money off warp, put all your money away, reset time, and then come back here. You have to go back and beat the boss again, but it's really easy to get to once you enter the temple. The remains actually allow you just to warp right to the boss. You fight him again. You make the village become spring, and then we can start getting to work again. So right now we're going to go get powder kegs so we can work our way to getting a new sword. 2 new swords, technically. So as you can see, everything's all nice and melted. And you got to be careful here. If you're rolling around as a Goron, he does just die. He sinks like a stone. Yep, just like that. Just dies, just gone. So I think just for funsies, we'll just use our bunny hood here. And make sure when you come back here, you picked up $100 out of your bank, because you're going to need it to upgrade your sword at least once, and then the second time they do it for free. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. So when you're in here, feel free, you got to turn back into Goron, roll over to a door that was previously frozen over that we couldn't get into unless we had fire arrows. So you're going to jump up in here. Now you have to talk to this guy as a Goron, so he gives you a test which you have to run with a powder keg. And we're going to open the door to the Goron racetrack where we can get some gold dust that helps us upgrade our sword. So it's got an extra long fuse on this one, so we have to pretty much just haul ass all the way back there. What sucks is you can't just walk up ramps with these things. You got to chuck them up and then roll up after them, which I'll do again near the racetrack. And if you get too close to it as you're trying to throw it, sometimes he'll drop the keg and start rolling back down, which is frustrating. So try to be as accurate as you can and just move as quick as you can. You can see there's a bunch of different things in the village now that everything's melted. And the treasure chest is down in the water here. We'll come back and get later. We need a different transformation mask before we can do anything with that. So it'll be a little bit before we actually get to go back there. Whoop, I'm going the wrong way. Now when you get it up there, if there's still a bunch of time on the wick that you can see there hanging off the side, you can just shoot it with an arrow and it'll just blow it right up. Yeah, see, like that. That's what I was talking about when you're too close to the ramp and you try to throw it. So you go ahead and just drop the powder keg. We'll go ahead and just pop it with an arrow here. So doing the Goron race is basically you're just rolling as a Goron the entire time against other Gorons. You have to be first place to get the gold dust that we need to get a better sword, and it can be a little difficult. So we'll see how many tries it actually takes me to do this. You don't have to pay any money to race. They just want you to race everybody. Yeah, now you gotta make sure your spikes are out, because if other Goron hits you and those aren't out, you just get knocked on your face, and you're not gonna win. It's impossible if you get knocked down. Get the spikes going and just take off. Now try and stay on the inside track as much as you can. Like I said, as you can see, you're just bouncing them around because their spikes are out, so you gotta keep that going the entire time. Try not to use the ramps as much as you can because it just slows you down. Ah, see, like that. Now you gotta get the spikes going again without getting hit. For some reason, they try to match your speed, which I find weird. Because it's almost like they don't want you to lose badly, but still want you to lose. So we're almost coming up on the end here. Try to stay on the inside track as much as you can. This douchebag in front of you is going to really screw things up. There we go. I think we just did it. Booyah! First time when I first ever did that, it took me probably about 6 different tries, and it was just frustrating as hell because I kept getting bounced around. Okay, so now what you want to do is just immediately go warp back to the mountain village. We're going to go in a little house there, and we're going to give him our sword to modify and change it into the razor sword, I believe. And then we're going to give it back to him. You'll have to change a lot of the time. You're going to keep skipping days to get the best sword that doesn't break. The first one you get, it breaks after about 100 swings. Talk to Mr. Big Scary Man here. So yes, you want to make sure you get this reforged because you're going to be able to do... this sword will do double the damage of your Kokiri sword, and then we get another sword after that does double the damage that one does. You can do quite a bit of damage. So now you want to play your Song of Double Time so we can get to the second day. And we go back in, and then we'll get our sword back. Now remember, you can skip these as long as you've seen them at least once. Except for the Song of Soaring, where that one's just quick anyway, so there's no point. Okay, so now we can go back in and get our razor sword. It looks kind of cool. I like it better than what the final sword looks like. The gilded sword looks a little weird to me. But we'll get another better sword after that later anyway. So it looks kind of cool. They used a... It's like they just put your rupees into the golden part of the blade. It's kind of funny. So this is why we wanted the gold dust. Now we can make a really awesome sword. It even has more range than the original, which we'll see here in just a second. So go ahead and just put that to one of your C buttons. I like how they keep trying to give coffee to a kid. Go ahead and just hand them the gold dust. once again, we got to fast forward through time. Alright, so we're going to get our fancy new sword here, and then what we're going to have to do is actually go back to town, reset to the first day again, then we can start going to collect more items. I believe we're going to go get we're going to get another bottle, we're going to get some heart pieces, before we even go to the next area where the next temple is. And we'll get our horse, but we, like I said, use the Goron mask primarily to get around. You'll just use the opponent to get into the next area. So there's our new sword. This thing is pretty cool, has pretty good range. As you can see, it swings just a little bit better, a little longer. It's like he's wielding a mini Master Sword kind of a thing. So now we're going to warp back to town again. Well, hang on, I only have 5 rupees, and I don't really care about the 5 rupees, so we're just going to go ahead and go back in time. And then we'll take out more money, because we got to go back to where our horse initially was, where we got the bunny hood. We have to play a little mini game with aliens, actually. And it's a mini game I've never beaten, because I don't know how they keep getting to the barn, but they do. I don't know if there's one I'm just not seeing, but I've never been able to catch him. All right. Oops, I didn't want to deposit rupees. So just take 100 rupees with you. That's all you're going to really need. We'll go to the bomb shop, grab a powder keg real quick, because they now sell them thanks to the little test we did. Oh, I never went back to the guy. Well, we'll go do that real quick, and then we'll come right back on the next episode.